Imagine you are the captain of an oil tanker. Your ship is sitting outside the Persian Gulf. Your cargo is worth millions of dollars. Your crew is nervous. Your insurance company is calling. Your government is watching. Then suddenly Iran says the Strait of Hormuz is open. The route is clear. The danger is reduced. The oil market relaxes. The world exhales. But before the day is over, the message changes. Another voice inside Iran says the opposite. The strait is not really open. The conditions have changed. The risk is back. So what do? Do you move forward into one of the most dangerous maritime choke points on Earth? Or do you wait, burn fuel, lose money, and hope someone in Tehran gives a final answer? That is the real power of Hormuz. It does not have to be closed forever. It does not even have to be fully closed. It only has to become uncertain. And uncertainty can move oil prices, freeze shipping routes, shake stock markets, and force the U.S. Navy into one of the hardest military problems in the world. Because the question is no longer simple. It is not just, is Hormuz open? The real question is, who has the authority to say so? The Strait of Hormuz is a narrow waterway between Iran and Oman. On a map, it looks small. In the global economy, it is enormous. Oil and gas from Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Qatar, Iraq, and Iran move through this route toward Asia, Europe, and the wider world. For the United States, Hormuz is not just a Middle Eastern problem. It is a global stability problem. If tankers stop moving through Hormuz, the shock does not stay in the Persian Gulf. It travels through fuel prices, shipping insurance, airline costs, military budgets, grocery prices, and financial markets. This is why a single statement from Tehran can matter more than a missile launch. A missile creates damage. A statement creates doubt. And in a choke point, doubt can be just as powerful. Most people imagine a blockade as something visible. A line of warships, explosions, mines in the water, helicopters flying low over tankers. But modern maritime pressure is often quieter. A tanker owner does not need to see a missile to stop moving. He only needs to believe a missile might be there. A shipping company does not need proof that a mine is active. It only needs insurance rates to become impossible. A captain does not need an official declaration of war. He only needs two governments or two factions inside the same government, giving conflicting signals. That is why Hormuz is so sensitive. It is not just a military route. It is a confidence route. And when confidence breaks, ships stop before the shooting even starts. The main problem is not whether Iran can physically close Hormuz forever. That is extremely difficult. The U.S. Navy has minesweepers, surveillance aircraft, destroyers, submarines, drones, satellites, and regional bases. Iran has coastal missiles, naval mines, fast boats, drones, mini-submarines, and the advantage of geography. But the real fight is not a clean battle between two fleets. It is a contest over hesitation. Can Iran create enough risk that commercial shipping refuses to move? Can the United States create enough security that shipping companies trust the route again? Can Gulf states keep exporting energy without turning the waterway into a permanent war zone? This is where the confusion over Iran's message becomes so dangerous. Because a closed strait is a crisis. An open strait is a relief. But a strait that is open in the morning and questionable by the afternoon is something worse. It is a trap for decision-makers. Think of Hormuz like a narrow hallway in a burning building. If the hallway is completely blocked, everyone knows the problem. You find another exit. You send firefighters. You make a plan. But if someone says the hallway is safe, then someone else says it might be filled with smoke. Then another person says only certain people can pass. The danger becomes harder to manage. Now every person must make a separate decision. That is exactly what happens at sea. Step 1. Iran makes a statement. If the statement says Hormuz is open, oil traders react immediately. Prices can fall because the market believes more supply may move. Step 2. Shipping companies call their insurers. They ask one question: will you cover this transit? If the answer is yes, ships may move. If the answer is no, the strait is effectively closed even if no one fires a shot. Step 3. Naval commanders watch the traffic pattern. If tankers begin moving, the U.S. Navy must decide whether to escort them, shadow them, or stay back. Every option carries risk. Escort too closely, and Iran can claim military provocation. Stay too far away, and a tanker attack becomes a political disaster. Move too aggressively, and a radar mistake can become a real clash. Step 4. Iran's military forces adjust. Fast boats may move closer. Coastal radar may light up. Drones may appear overhead. Missile batteries may be repositioned. None of this has to be an attack. But every movement sends a message. Step 5. The market reacts again. Oil does not wait for perfect information. It moves on fear, probability, and speed. This is why a confused announcement can create a real economic shock. The confusion itself becomes part of the battlefield. Inside Iran, there is often a divide between diplomatic messaging and hardline military pressure. The foreign ministry may want to reduce pressure, reopen trade, and create a path for negotiation. The Revolutionary Guard may see the same moment differently. For a military institution built around resistance, pressure can be useful. A crisis increases its importance. A deal can reduce it. That does not mean every disagreement is chaos. Governments often have internal debates. But when those debates appear in public during a crisis, the outside world sees something dangerous. It sees uncertainty in the chain of command. And that is exactly what Washington worries about. Because the United States can negotiate with a government. It can deter a military. It can pressure an economy. But negotiating with multiple centers of power is much harder. Who can sign a deal? Who can enforce it? Who can stop a local commander from making a mistake? Who can promise that a tanker will not be harassed tomorrow? These are not abstract questions. They are the questions that decide whether ships move. The hidden risk is accidental escalation. Not invasion. Not a planned war. Not a dramatic first strike. A mistake. A drone flies too close to a destroyer. A patrol boat misreads a warning. A radar operator thinks a commercial vessel is part of an escort group. A tanker turns off its tracking signal because it is afraid of being targeted. A missile battery locks onto the wrong shape on a screen. In open ocean, there is room to recover from confusion. In Hormuz, there is almost no room. The waterway is crowded. The stakes are high. The weapons are fast. The political pressure is extreme. And when leaders send mixed signals, the people closest to the danger have to guess. That is how crises grow. Not always because someone wanted a war, but because no one knew which signal mattered. If Hormuz becomes unreliable, the consequences spread far beyond Iran. Asian economies worry about energy supply. Europe worries about inflation. Gulf states worry about export routes. China worries about oil access. The United States worries about naval credibility. And every shipping company begins doing the same math. How much does it cost to wait? How much does it cost to reroute? How much does it cost if a ship is hit? How much does it cost if a crew refuses to sail? These calculations do not appear on the evening news as explosions. But they shape the global economy. A tanker sitting still is not dramatic. But hundreds of tankers waiting for clarity can become a silent blockade. This is the strange power of modern maritime warfare. Sometimes the most dangerous weapon is not the mine in the water. It is the belief that a mine might be there. So when Iran says Hormuz is open, then makes the world doubt that message, the real event is not the announcement. The real event is the loss of trust. The U.S. Navy can clear mines, can escort tankers, can track missiles, can watch the coastline, but it cannot easily clear uncertainty from the minds of ship owners, insurers, oil traders, and nervous governments. That is why Hormuz is so dangerous. It is a narrow strip of water with global consequences. And right now, the biggest question may not be whether Iran wants to close it. The bigger question is whether anyone can convince the world that it is truly open. Because in the Strait of Hormuz, the first ship to move is not just carrying oil. It is carrying trust. And if that trust fails, the next crisis may begin before the first shot is fired.